Happy day, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Better Catholics. Once again, I'm Father Melvin.
I'm Bishop Ryan.
And I'm Donna Flores.
And we're going to talk about this in this episode. We're going to talk about youth ministry program in our diocese. And to help us with our in our discussion, we have a very special guest today. We have Miss Tiava Tomata. Let's give her a big round of applause.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Can you say something about yourself, Miss T?
Of course. So, like Father Melvin said, my name is Tiava Tomata. I am a minister at St. Jude Parish. With Father Melvin, we co-chaired the Diocesan Youth Commission. Just recently, we're about reaching our 1 year, or have reached our 1 year together. So, yeah.
Yeah. So the youth ministry program in the diocese, this is always very challenging. We get the highest funding, I guess. But it's very difficult to run the youth ministry program. There are challenges. Maybe we can talk about the challenges of youth ministry program run in the diocesan level and the parish level, which is very important.
Oh, yes.
I would like to emphasize on the parish level youth ministry program. Without the parish level, there is no diocesan level. And the state of our youth ministry, our activities, maybe we can talk about it.
Of course.
Yes. So thank you very much, Tiava, for coming to talk about our ministry.
Of course. Thank you guys for inviting me to do so. Like Father Melvin said, this is a very challenging commission to be in. And I've been a part of the Youth Commission for the past 4 years before we became appointed. So I was able to see how it started up to where it is now. And you'd think that after 4 years, there'd be a lot more improvement. But I guess we could say there are improvements, but we firsthand get to experience the challenges, especially as the heads of it, spearheading this. And I'd just like to start with, what you said earlier about the parish level, how the parish really does influence how the diocesan level would be run. And just speaking from St. Jude, a lot of people look at St. Jude Parish and think, oh, this is an exemplar parish for the youth. And it didn't come from an overnight, an overnight solution. It was years, months, time of a lot of people who were involved in making our youth as active as they are today. And that's what we want to do for all the youth in the diocese, one event at a time, at least. And Father, for you coming into St. Jude, you reached about 1.5 years now there. How was that experience for you coming into seeing how our youth are, and then now being appointed to a diocesan level? How was that experience for you?
It was actually very refreshing, to say the least. Refreshing and revitalizing, reinvigorating experience for me, because I've never seen a youth ministry program in a parish, at least in the States. In the Philippines, it's always big and there's always something going on. But in the States, it's kind of subdued, a little bit tamed. But in St. Jude, you always have the kids lingering in the church. I was actually happy to see that. I would rather see them, hanging out in the church than somewhere else. At least I get to see them. I know that they are safe. I know that they are not doing anything crazy or stupid, but they are in church. They do. They study there. They joke around, hang out, whatever they want to do, they play. So it's a good thing. It's a good experience, at least for me. Yeah.
And I think also it's not just because, one factor or one reason that St. Jude is able to allow all these young people to gather. It really is a combination of the entire parish community's efforts. And I recall in the past, even when the youth of St. Jude would do outreach program, would go to the island of Rota.
Yes.
So, there would be bake sale, because it entails expense. And so the parish community at large are also excited to support, and just also giving that space for them to hang out and in between masses stay there. And I also learned, like when I did the confirmation, like Father Melvin ordered like a lot of food, says don't worry. So meaning he gives his leftovers also to the kids. And I know you cook for them also. So I think it's a combination of all of this. And I know this episode is really about what are our concrete activities in the diocesan level, because really we've talked about the value of youth ministry, reaching out to the young people as a church.
Right.
And so now we hope to have also like concrete actions on what we are doing. And we indicated youth ministry as one of our top 5 priorities in our pastoral plan, which will end this year. And that's why, Tiava, when you mentioned you've been part of this commission for 4 years now. And Tiava also had the experience of meeting the Holy Father was it in Brazil?
Panama.
And it was in Panama.
Yes.
with who was with you?
Eloise from Pusterite, yes.
Yeah. And so it's good to have people like you who also experienced how it's done in other parts of the world. And Father Melvin just came back also from experiencing Life Teen in Arizona with 2 youth members from St. Jude. And no, we don't really have a big budget, but I as a leader of our small diocese, I really would like to put our resources where we value also the kind of program and activities that we have. So that's why, whatever they would need, we tell our office, prioritize this is for the young people. We cannot just preach about, youth is important, and yet we say, tadya sa lapi, we can't fund you. We don't have much, but that's where we also seek for funding from Catholic Extension, and really we do what we can. And so thank you, both of you, for your dedication and commitment and what you have been doing.
And I think that's the beauty of St. Jude Parish. You would, like you said, Bishop, it's a small church. So the community really is proactive and engaged in the activities that go on in the church, compared to, I would say, the bigger parishes where it's more diverse. I would think, Padre Melvin, that other churches would do what you do. The larger churches, you open your doors, you allow the kids in. Like you said, they're safe. They come in to do work or what have you. You open the doors, not just for worship, but for other things, a sense of safety. Maybe other churches need to follow that example. And I can tell you, there are some that do not do that, especially considering the diversity in the church. You would think that they would have open doors as well to stuff like that, just to keep the kids safe. And that's what brings people to church. Here we are, we're preaching about better Catholics, how to bring people to church, yet we close the doors when people may need it the most.
So I'm glad you said that, Donna, because the past couple of months, I visited all parishes and did the sacrament of confirmation, including Rota and Tinian. So when I did the confirmation at St. Jude, I said, I know I would be misquoted if I say that St. Jude is a model and my best parish so far. But there's truth to that in the sense that it really is very active with the presence of the young people. And it's not just lip service. I actually witness and see it. And you're correct. I wish, even I can say it because I'm here in the Mother Church, we still have a long way to go. And there are many factors. I see that. But to have, a smaller parish but a lot, even their choir, and I witnessed them transition. They were once in the CCD, got confirmed, continued on. They have their own choir group, and then they help in the outreach. And as Tiava pointed out, it's not an overnight thing. It really, years of continuing, effort, and through the guidance of the Holy Spirit, that it is what it is now. So thank you and congratulations.
But the action is there, Bishop, because look at when you, what do you call it when you initiate or altar servers? What is it called? The induction of altar servers. There's so many of them. It's
Yeah.
such a small church.
I did weekday mass there.
Mhm.
It was a Monday, and I counted there were like 12.
They enjoy
I
it.
counted how many people attended mass, 20.
And I'm sure it's they want to be there. And you look at the larger parishes that lack. So it makes you wonder,
Yes.
what is it that this parish is doing that separates it from the rest, the
Yes,
larger
yes.
parishes? And, maybe we should consider
Yeah.
eliminating or reducing some restrictions that we do have at these parishes to allow, lead by example, show by example.
So
It's
tell us the
proven.
secret.
What's the
Right.
secret?
Maybe that's why you appointed us as
That's right.
as the Assistant Youth Commission chairs.
I wish I can take the credit for this, but I came to St. Jude. The youth ministry is already established, so I'm actually just reaping the fruit of the efforts of.
Well, you're sustaining it.
Yes.
Sustaining. That's a good
Sustaining
word.
it. Yes.
That's a good
Sustaining
word.
it.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, but the priest that
Because you could have killed it too.
Yeah,
right?
you could
Yeah.
have.
Yeah.
like Thanos, snapping his
Snap.
fingers. like that.
Thank you for not
Everything.
doing that.
Yes, but maybe you can enlighten us with how the youth ministry evolved in St. Jude, how it really grew.
Of course. And I definitely can relate it to how in our roles now as a Diocesan Commission, Youth Commission co-chairs, how we can help our diocese grow as well.
Mhm.
And I'd say 50% of that work comes from enticing our youth that they want to be there. And if they want to be there, that other 50% goes to the parishioners who are there, who want them to be there. So it is a 50-50, at least from what I've experienced as a youth. If I feel invited going to any place, be it church, a work event, a party, I'd want the people hosting me to want me to be there.
Right,
I wouldn't want to feel intrusive, especially if it's an unfamiliar place.
right.
And I currently teach pre-con at St. Jude. And I personally love teaching pre-con because these are the kids that have that gap from when they reach their first Holy Communion. We can see them for 5, 6, 7 years. Here they are after receiving their first Holy Communion and they look like deer in headlights. They're like, what's this? What's going on? I haven't been here since 2010, right? Or the last time they went there was for a finakpo or a death anniversary or funeral. It's only these special occasions that they would go back to church. And that's my favorite batch to teach because these are the kids who have been gone for so long and may have heard so many things in these past 7, 10 years since they've last been at the church. And there is no denying a lot of controversy that has been going on about the Catholic Church, a lot of things that have arisen, and they're already coming in with these premeditative thoughts about everything that we do and what we do. We're so judgmental. All we want is tentuli, and all we want is money for the collection just to keep pouring into the church. But that's not the point, and that's a very small fraction of what we do, and it's more like opening the doors to them, telling them that the church that you may have known 7, 10 years ago is not the church that it is today, because it has grown in so many ways, and exploring it is scary. And, these kids that I teach, they're freshmen in high school. They're in high school, so of course they're going through their phases in life. And this is an important phase because when I was a freshman in high school, I didn't know what to do with my life. I didn't know what I want to do. I needed guidance. And for them to find that guidance in the house of God with people around them that could guide them, a place where they could call home is what we aim to do by the end of the catechetical year, is that when you come through these doors, you're no longer scared. This is no longer an unfamiliar place. This is a home for you. And in order for that home to be home, the people living in that home have to be just as welcoming as the person is to be just as adventurous to go in. So at least in our experience of St. Jude, we are very blessed to have a parish core, a parish community who embraces our youth, embraces their flaws, because yes, they are not perfect. Although what we put on social media may seem like, oh, St. Jude did this, they did that. Yeah.
We're
Underneath
fine.
all of that, there's a lot of lessons learned, a lot of corrections that need to be made. But these corrections eventually bear the fruits that everyone sees on the table. And, for our role in the diocesan level, when we both got appointed, we sat down and we're like, how do we do this on a bigger scale, right?
Yes.
Because you got to start from the center, make your way out in order to build this, establishing a strong foundation first, then build your way up. And when we hosted our event last year, we had that World Youth Day. We were able to bring Tinian over, have them come over. We were able to host, even though it was a really short, like 1 or 2 day event, we made it happen. And we've heard a lot of good responses, a lot of people saying, how did you guys get so active? How do I start a youth choir? And we have our kids engage with those kids who are interested. So they could also, I guess, have that spark lit under them. Because if the kids are interested in pursuing something at their parish in different ministries, then I guess this is when it goes to that other 50% of that parish has to be open and welcoming these different ministries. I guess since the onset of COVID, a ministry that we have, I don't want to say started, but we've, I guess, brought back up was the hospitality ministry, you know, ensuring that social distancing is in order. We have ushers to guide our parishioners back. And these are kids who may not be vocal, may not want to lecture, they may not want to serve, but if they want to open the door and greet everybody, good morning, welcome to St. Jude Parish, let me guide you to your seat, simple things like that. I think it's advice for all the different parishes is cater to the youth that you have. And once you cater to those youth oftentimes invite their friends. They're like, oh, Par, I'm going to Mass tonight. You want to follow? Like, oh yeah, sure, I'll go. And I guess the first step is to really entice your youth. And for those at the parish level, please be welcoming towards the youth that are there.
I think that's important, the other 50%. And as I was listening to you, Tiava, that I guess that's where the problem is in many parishes. The 50%, the regular members of the parish community, be it from the music ministry to other established ministries already, how do we make the youth involved? Say, for example, giving them a spot or a time slot for choir, right? And then I'm in Tinian, for example. I mean, whenever I go to Tinian, they had a beautiful youth choir.
Oh, yes, they do.
And, you know, when they sing, and it's just like, you know, it really inspires you. You know, when I did confirmation at St. Jude, that is a youth choir. So, which is telling that those already, you know, the Manamko and those established choirs give room for this younger parishioner so that they too can share in the ministry, right? Yeah. And I think it's important that we have those already involved, you know, we'll have to slowly give way and let go and allow others to share. And I think that's where the problem when we're not able to do that.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it is. Like what Tia said, be inclusive. Allow them. If they still have stage fright, they're not open to doing other things, let them open the door. Let them be the welcoming committee.
Plus, not everybody can be part of the choir.
Of course not.
Right. I told that to Deacon Tony. He said, you know.
Some of them you just have to restrict.
Yeah, St. Paul says we all have different gifts. Some are good in, you know, organization and in administration, in healing, in singing. You know, all of us in this table, we're all good at singing, but not everybody is. And so therefore, you know, if you know, we recognize the gifts of the others that they can also share with the parish community.
Exactly. And I think a lot of this thinking has to be done outside of the box, right? A lot of unorthodox thinking about the different ministries that we can have, or perhaps people are just so used to seeing the ministries that we can visibly see, such as reading, commentating, serving, choir. But there are other logistical aspects that go into the parish life. Hospitality is one that we just talked about. Another one is environment. I mean, someone needs to make the church look a little pretty. And we do have youth who volunteer to like either sweep up the church or help the florist decorate. We have CCD if you want to be a teacher aid. We even have cut the grass.
Yeah,
Father
Do you have grass around St. Jude?
No,
we have a little bit, but we have some kids who
just
come.
something.
Just come and just offer their time, talents, and treasures, whatever it may be, to
Yeah.
help out the church. And even though it's not a formal ministry, I mean, we have somebody who works on the PowerPoints, and there's no PowerPoint ministry, but we have someone who volunteers their time. And if they like doing Microsoft Word, Microsoft PowerPoint, they align
Social
the
media.
schedules. Social media, for one,
Yes,
we're very blessed. You know, Tito Romel, you're awesome. And you inspired a lot of our youth to begin taking photos and videos, which is something that we've been doing on our own too. So we have kids interested in media, you know.
Yeah.
You'll see some of them walking around with a camera, even if it's their phone, it's not a
Right.
professional camera. And
Yes.
we have someone who edits it, uploads it, creates captions, creates flyers. There's so many things that we can cater towards our youth, and we just have to be open about it. And
Yes,
think about
yeah.
it,
I did mention perhaps on 2 confirmation. I mentioned as the new saint, Carlo Acutis. He's an
Yes.
Italian teenager,
yes,
15 years of age, and is really into gadgets, into computer. But what he did was use his gifts for the church, and in fact, he created also websites
Wow.
for the parishes and for the diocese.
Yeah.
So here's a first millennial saint. And, you know, sainthood is possible for everyone. It doesn't mean that, you know, someone who, even though you're modern, you're into gadgets and all of that, you can always use it for building the kingdom of God. You know, and other than that, of course, his other charism also was really helping the poor. He would use his money, his personal allowance to buy food for the poor. And at one point, he even used his money to buy a mat, a sleeping bag for the homeless.
Wow.
So these are the kind of stories that would also encourage our young people, that it's not just lip service, it's concrete.
Right.
And whatever you're interested in, gadgets, internet, you can use it for the good of the parish community.
Yes, for sure.
I think, you know, during this age of high tech, and not only technology, but just individualism. Everybody's to themselves now, if it's due to the onset of the pandemic or what have you. But I think nowadays we look for interaction, and, you know, I can't say it enough. It's wonderful to have this, to be in this day and age of technology and all the great stuff that come with it. But sometimes it lacks that personal aspect. And just to, I think, to attract our kids back, we're all looking for something. We're, you know, just to acknowledge the youth, include them, and recognize them in the things that they do. I think that makes it successful. And I think that's what keeps them coming back. They're young. You can still mold and shape their minds, their thoughts, and, you know, get them into really be more spiritual if you just welcome them and you acknowledge them. And then that comes, you know, the spiritual aspect maybe will come later. Like she said, they have friends that come, hey, let's go, follow me to church. Maybe that person was not inclined to go to mass or wasn't spiritual, but just the fact that somebody acknowledged them and wants to involve them. We really hunger for that as humans. We need to feel that sense of belonging. And I think when we tap into them at a younger age, especially now, when there's just so much happening in the world, and we feel there's so much uncertainty, I think right now. We go back to previous, how we're talking about structure. There's structure. We know there's a welcoming environment. We're going to keep coming. And then from there, we build. That's when you come in and you build more on spirituality and faith and get them more involved in church practices. I think, you know, what St. Jude is doing is really wonderful. I mean, really, my hat is off to you folks for this, because it's a smaller parish. It's maybe we can even call it a pilot parish for this endeavor. But I really hope that our other parishes will model, and, you know, will have St. Jude serve as a model for them, and making it work for all of it. Because especially our youth now, they're really looking for something, for a sense of belonging, and just to feel welcome and belong to a place. It really impacts them in a positive way.
I want to ask Father Melvin, because he just came back from the gathering Life Teen, and was there an idea, a program, or something that struck you that can be applied to
Yes.
St. Jude?
We actually attended the breakout sessions for beginners. So we're really neophytes in the Life Teen program, and the reason why we went there is we are hoping to bring the Life Teen spirit here in the island, which is really, really nice. And one of the things that we talked about is how to get the young people to come to the church. So it's a conference for youth ministers, and that was the problem. How do you get the young people to come to church? And the things that the speakers talked about is this. Well, you have to welcome them. You have to have a very welcoming atmosphere in the church. So when you see kids coming to church, welcome them, or be happy that the kids are there. When a family is there bringing their children to church, some of them may be restless. Welcome them. Don't shoo them away.
Or don't put a sign like no children allowed.
No children. No children allowed. Just welcome them.
Yeah.
That sense of welcome will definitely be felt by the parents and also the children, the young people. Some people, I'm not saying that everybody, some people, the older members of the church, the parish community, sometimes they tend to say, disregard the younger members. This is our territory. We've been doing this for a very long time. You don't tell us what to do. Maybe not in that same level, but the kids are thrown off when they feel that they are unable to participate. There's no room, there's no place for them in the church. There's no sense of belongingness, no sense of welcome. They have no role in the church. Then the kids will go away. They definitely will go away.
But what was in your mind? Because check, we did this to St. Jude already.
I was actually doing a mental, checklist of these are the things that we've been doing all along in St. Jude. We just need to make sure that this system trickles down into the other parishes. It's not the best model, of course. St. Jude is not perfect, but if things are working in St. Jude, maybe things will work out also in other parishes.
Yeah.
Like Mount Carmel Cathedral. Say it. It's okay.
No, in other parishes. Yes.
But going back to that sense of being territorial, I think that's something that at least the signers in our church also, admittedly had a problem with before. But I think after being exposed to the potential that the youth can bring, it no longer becomes a sense of this is my parish, right? I am this parish. It becomes more so, you can help me in this parish. And honestly, our core and our signers, they're like, oh, can the youth do this? Now they're asking us can you guys cover our choir day? Can you guys do this? It's a sense of, I guess, responsibility, a torch being passed, because that sense of trust has been established and they see the potential that the youth can bring. Then they see themselves as, okay, I can kind of loosen the reins. I can relax. I don't have to worry about going to mass every day at 6 p.m. because I know that it will be covered. I know that there's people there that will take care of our church. It doesn't become my parish. It becomes our parish. And I guess that's the same with the diocese, right? When we have events, different kinds of events popping up and we advertise it, this is not just for our diocese. This is not just for our Catholics, or this is for everybody. And that's where the sense of synodality comes in, and inviting everybody, being welcome to all kinds of people, regardless of sexual orientation, regardless of faith beliefs. I think it's really important to just open our doors and just invite all walks of life to come see what we can bring, what we can do. And if they'd like to stay, then great. And if not, at least they leave with a better understanding of what it is to be a Catholic.
Right.
And what I always tell, at least my pre-con kids and all the youth that I come across, is everybody has their own faith journey. Going back to what Donna said, sometimes the spiritual aspect of being involved as a youth in the parish comes later. And that's okay.
Mhm.
And that's something we always tell our kids is you don't have to automatically come in and feel like I have an immediate connection with God. I immediately
right,
love this.
right.
And that's not the case, I guess, 99% of the times.
Mhm.
You learn to love something and you learn to immerse yourself in the divinity and everything that is around you in the church. And
Mhm.
again, that is not learned overnight. Everyone has their own journeys, their own reasons why they do what they do and believe what they believe in and how long it takes them to do so. And embracing the fact that they're not perfect like that they're not just going to walk into the church and immediately love God and love the Catholic faith is important for not only them to feel that it's okay, but for the parishioners and those welcoming them to feel as well, is that it's okay that this kid, this youth doesn't immediately, go head deep and say that they love everything that they're doing. It's their own journey that leads them to that end result of, I'm home. I love it here. I love my faith. I love what I do. And it takes some time. And yes, we just all have to be open to it. And especially to, those listening to us and hearing us talk about St. Jude and all this. I know you probably heard about St. Jude so much in this episode, but it's more so enticing other people who are not from St. Jude.
Mhm.
People who are from different parishes, different jurisdictions. Don't be afraid to go into your church and ask what you can do and
Mhm.
what are the things that are catered towards you, towards the youth, because the youth is the future, but
Right.
the youth is also the now,
True.
because we are here now. And while we get older, yes, we do get a greater sense of responsibility upon us, but how can we learn that responsibility if we're not trusted in it at such a young age? So
Yes.
Well, I'm so it's probably one of our fewer podcasts and I just listen and in my mind says, can you
Yes.
leave an Impasi and work full time for the diocese? But we can't afford you, Tiava. But you talk about events. Do you mind
Yes.
sharing what we have lined up so far for the upcoming months
Yes.
for our young people in the diocese?
of course.
Yes. Well, we have an upcoming event. This is the Sportsfest / youth camp
/ concert.
/ concert.
The name is still in the works.
Okay.
We're trying to
Okay.
come up with a
Yes.
catchy, creative name.
Yes.
But
yes.
in this event, we're going to have a lot of fun. Talking about youthful spirit. We're gonna make sure that the spirit of the young is in there, celebrated in that event. So, but we're gonna have sports events.
Yes.
We're gonna have some painting maybe, and we'll have a cultural night. Just like it's really a mini World Youth Day.
Like a jamboree
event.
or a
something
youth
like
fest
that.
or something.
But we will also have spiritual
Of course.
nourishment,
Mhm.
aspect to it. We'll have talks and we'll have a mass. We'll have confession.
Yeah.
One of the things that we will have is the painting contest. So each parish will have a representative who knows how to paint. Hopefully, who knows how to paint, and whoever wins this painting contest will be the cover for our calendar.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Our upcoming.
So we're planning for the
calendar 2023.
23.
Yes.
Yes.
So the winner because how many months in a year?
Yeah.
12.
Yeah.
Yes.
We have 13 parishes.
Right.
Oh, one's going to be left out.
Oh.
No, it's perfect. Actually, the winner will be the
The cover?
Yeah.
Okay.
and then the
other
non-winners, the 12.
Yeah.
Non-winners.
Oh, just remove the bishop's message. Remove that and
Oh,
put
yeah.
the artwork.
That
Of
can go at the
course.
back.
Yes.
We can do a QR code
Yes.
so you can
Yes,
scan for the
that's
bishop's
right.
message.
That's right. But I'm excited because art is such an important medium for expression,
Right.
for just everything, who you are, conveying the message as different to the written text. And I'm sure our young people are. I'm excited to see the creativity that they can
Right.
come up with.
Yes.
Yeah, and we have prize. Like, is it 1,000? No, just kidding. We didn't have
1,000. You didn't finish. It's 1,000 Hail Mary.
That's correct.
1,000 Our Fathers.
Yeah. We're talking about events. This is our way of reaching out to them, really. That the youth ministry is not always about praying in church and serving in all liturgical services. It's not always about that. It's also about having a community, a family, having fun together. That's one aspect. People make a lot of mistakes. Youth ministers, pastors, they make a lot of mistakes in saying that we should bring the kids to our church and do this and do that. No, we have to go to the level of the kids. Meet them where they are, and then slowly, gain their trust, gain their confidence. And if it is by means of sports that we get to get their attention, then so be it. That's one thing that I actually learned from the Life Teen conference that I attended. So thank you to the sponsors. Thank you very much to the sponsors. So what do we do? Do we drag them to church so that they can be what we want them to be? Like we designed this system already, and we put them in that box, and that is not helpful. That is actually very traumatic to the youth. What we do, as we talked about in the conference, is we go sit with the young person, and encourage them to come, and talk to them about life, talk to them about their struggles, and introduce them to the life of the church. Like, it's not always about praying and this and that. It's also about fun. You can have fun as a young member of the church, and there's a lot of kids doing that.
Well, you incorporate it into those activities.
Slowly, it will evolve into something more.
Well, Polly Melvin, that goes to our initial episode of Better Catholics, is how can we bring people to the church? And it's more or less not just expecting them to come freely, but now we have to go out to them and bring them to the church. So this is just another mechanism in making, in the efforts in making that possible, because nowadays it's hard. I mean, our parents don't, or at least my generation of parents, most of us don't drag our kids to church like what our parents did. And there's so many choices nowadays. So really, we need to go out to the people, to the youth. I mean, the younger, the better. And bring them to the church. And so they recognize their spirituality. Everybody has it in them. We all need something to believe in, something greater than us. And what more than for us to go out and incorporate these activities, with spirituality. And I think it's a great endeavor that this youth fest, or whatever you're going to call it, is making.
Yes. And it's going back to what you both said, meeting people where they're at. And we're very happy to announce that our this youth event will be held in Tinian for the first time. A diocesan event as big as this to be held in a sister island of ours. In our meetings prior to today, we've always discussed about holding events at different places, not just always Saipan, even though, yes, our demographic, our population is the highest, but it's also meeting people where they're at and where they're needed. And we've had, the representatives from Tinian express how much it would mean to them to hold a diocesan event, to hold some kind of event in Tinian, because it's always them flying out here.
True.
Always them having to fundraise and bring their kids here. Right. And they're just fundraising from the same 3,000 people on island, So now it's our turn, right, to step up to the plate, to advertise to our parishes. If you'd like to send your kids, your youth, to participate in this event held in Tinian, this could be some of the kids' first time on a plane or on a boat, or their first time to Tinian. And they get to experience the beauty that Tinian brings, which is, very beautiful. St. Jude was very blessed to do an outreach to Tinian and hold some kind of small event in there, over there for them. And now that, with us kind of spearheading this, we know what to expect. And the kids and youth at Tinian are strong.
Yes,
And
they are.
not a lot of people see that. They think that Tinian is just small with a small kind of youth. If anything, Tinian's youth is just on par with St. Jude, if not better, especially their choir. Their choir is so amazing, and a lot of people haven't heard it.
So thank you for thinking of holding this in Tinian. I really like the fact that, we think outside of the box, like everything has to be in Saipan. Of course, we all live here in Saipan, but it's kind of in line also with Pope Francis' idea of, who is really at the center, where is the periphery, how do you define peripheries and center? So kind of to get away with that idea. So bring the center to what is perceived as in the periphery. Like Rota and Tinian, they feel bad because how come all events are always in Saipan? Not that they feel bad, but, consider them too. They're an equally beautiful island. So thank you for that. So we'll see.
Yes.
You want to be with us, Donna?
Please.
You know what? Tinian is a great community. They come together and they support any activities that come to them. And I'm especially this with the church bringing the youth activity there. I'm sure it will be an overwhelming outpouring show of support from all levels. I'm sure even from the government and, just from families in itself. And I think because what's also beautiful about bringing it there is, there's limitations of what is there compared to what is here. So because of that, I think it's going to even bring the youth, build a stronger bond because they're going to be forced to sit together and do all these things together because of, just the limitation in other activities, that maybe Saipan has. Going to the stores, doing these things, what have you. I think it will create an even stronger bond among the youth just because they will be together all the time in one area doing things together. So what more? I think it would be a wonderful opportunity for everyone, especially those that are here going there and just experiencing what life is like there and bonding with their peers.
Right.
How many are we expecting from Saipan to go there?
Well, when we met with our other youth commission members on a parish level, we told them as much youth as you want to bring, let us know. And, we can help you plan it out. If there's anything that at least Father Melvin and I have experience with, it's bringing kids to other islands. So if they need logistical help, we can help with like how much it's going to cost per parish and what the planning would be, different financial options. Because, the reality is our parishes are not as financially stable as other institutions. And as much as people may think, the diocese is not rich.
Yes, no, that's correct. I agree with you 1,000%. Right?
But it's safe there. I mean, just like during the Pico Fest, they're like, you can come and camp out down here at the beach. The facilities are clean. I can testify to that. I mean, I've utilized, the public restrooms there. Everything's clean. And I know the community will do its best to ensure the safety, especially of our youth, because they want this to happen. And I'm sure they want it to be successful. But it's just, even camping, I mean, what a wonderful opportunity. That's the style we envision, actually,
is like, you don't have to worry about lodging because we're going to be on the campgrounds anyways. And
it's really more fun, actually.
Yeah, it is more fun.
So what we're doing is we're turning limitations to work for us.
Of course.
To work to our advantage. So we're making it interesting and fun at the same time.
And the ideas garnered with what the program will entail for this, I guess, Youth Fest is from the youth. It's not just... Father, I'm not saying they're not a youth father, but it's not just from, a priest's perspective or my perspective. It's from the youth actually involved in this commission that are planning these ideas and are hearing what their peers want to see. And they want sports, we'll incorporate sports. They want a concert. we'll give them a concert. And we just want to get all these ideas garnered from the audience that we're catering to and that we want to come to this event. And like Father said, incorporate the spiritual aspects within it. Because we can have a concert, but I'm sure we can have a song about
we can
our
have
faith.
campfire reflections at
That's
the end of the day. I mean, what
Exactly,
more than
yes.
to just, I can envision it already.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
We'll be there.
While the priests are fishing in the.
Oh, no, okay.
While they're jumping off Taga Beach, we'll be doing our
I'll do that. I'm gonna jump.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a lot,
Yes.
a lot going on right now as far as planning is concerned, and we're hoping to really make more activities, create more activities on a diocesan level. But again, as I've been saying, this is on a diocesan level. What we really want to achieve is an active parish level youth ministry program. It's not only when we have, say, confirmation students, the youth ministry is active. No, we want to have a really active youth ministry program detached from the CCD program.
Yes.
So because once CCD is over, you don't have the youth ministry anymore.
Yeah.
We don't want that. What we want is a sustainable youth ministry program in every parish. So it is within the control of the parish priest, the pastor, and also the core and the community, the parish community. We have to have a welcoming parish community. We have to offer them a sense of belongingness, that they are provided with roles and parts to play in the parish life. And we can go on and on. But Tiava and myself, we are more than willing to help you out with planning how to establish the youth ministry, how to make programs in the parish, and we will go to your parish if you just give
Answer
us a
Father
call.
Melvin's
Yes,
email.
yes.
So
Answer
if
my
you
email.
received an email from Father Melvin, check your inbox.
Yeah, that's right. Yes. So wow, we that's a lot of time already, that we've been talking, and it's not enough to talk about everything we have for the youth ministry program. But one thing is sure, we're trying to make a difference in the lives of young people. We're hoping to make a better Catholics out of them. So to those that are, to the parents out there that are listening, maybe you can consider sending your children to church. Have them come and enjoy the youth ministry program in the parish. We will get them involved in the life of the church. That is how we are going to turn them into better persons, better individuals, but also better Catholics.